Dr. Emoto's water experiment is probably the most tangible, most legitimate proof of the observer effect. When he put those words on those jars and people observed the water in each specific jar with those specific words on them, they changed matter. They changed the structure of something else just with their energy, just through their observation. And that's really collapsing that water into a specific state. Since then, a lot of people have tried to use his experiment either to disprove that it works or to prove that it works. But when he did it, he started not only with pure water, but with pure consciousness. He didn't know what was going to happen. He didn't know what the outcome would be. He had no observer effect of his own that led to the beginning of that experiment. So anytime anybody does it since then, they do it with a preconceived notion of what they're thinking is gonna come out of it. Either they're gonna recreate it to prove that he was right, they're gonna recreate it to prove that he was wrong, or they're gonna recreate it in hopes of showing something different. And essentially that starts the observer effect before they're ever in jars and before they ever have words applied to them. So they are literally already observed as having a certain potential, a certain direction, a certain energy, and a certain reason for being. So that's why the initial experiment, the initial outcome, is honestly the only pure version of it, because everything since then has been based on that first experiment, which also means the results are based on what that outcome was and how it was done. And so the water never starts pure again, because whoever's doing it always is doing it with a preconceived notion, even if it's just to recreate an experiment. You're still thinking this is water for an experiment that's already been done. But the observer effect always comes down to your belief. It's always personal. What we choose to see in the world, what we choose to believe is happening, not going to happen, what we believe is happening, what we believe we see, what we trust with our own eyes, what we trust with our own perceptions, is always starting from a neutral space. But anytime we're trying to do something to prove or disprove something else, the observer effect is already in action. It's already part of the experiment before the non-biased observers are ever going to deal with it or see it. So it never starts out neutral if we're doing it for a reason or with a perceived outcome. So the observer effect always works based on what you believe, on what you are observing to have happened. So anytime you observe it in relation to the community, it's actually part of the collective consciousness, and it never starts as a neutral sample. It's always going to be biased by what you know about the already perceived notion is, and what the previous observer effect has already edited it into being. It's no longer neutral, it's no longer sterile, it's no longer pure. It always starts with some preconceived observer energy.